Is it just me or is that leaning?
Yeah, I was leaning a little bit.
It's like my dick, man. Come on. Okay. What? What?
No, it's got a mental image there.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Josh.
I'm Ryan.
We're coming at you today with a little bit of a different video. We're going to be talking today about crypto and what it is. So a little bit of crypto 101 for you guys.
Yeah, so we were thinking, it's like, especially the last few months, and especially, end of 2017, there's this weird thing called cryptocurrency out there. Maybe some of your coworkers were talking about it.
Maybe you've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it around there. TV shows have been talking about it. It's that giant golden coin with a B on it, and it's called Bitcoin. That was the thing that really kicked it off. People were buying it like crazy. So what we want to do in this podcast today, we just want to kind of break it down, kind of tell you the basics, the 101 of what cryptocurrency is, how it all started, and where it's going today and in the future.
But we would like to say, first and foremost, this is not financial advice or investment advice. This is just Ryan and I's opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
So take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. Whatever you guys decide to do, if you decide to invest or make any purchases, it's on your own free will. We're just kind of giving you our personal advice, two random dudes that, how we feel about cryptocurrency and what its potential is in the future.
Cryptocurrency is starting to be a little more mainstream, I think. And if anything, we can help new users understand, or people who don't know, to help you better understand and make choices for yourself. So
definitely.
Without further ado, Ryan, let's get into it.
Yeah. So before cryptocurrency even really got into the mainstream, we have to go back in time to, I would say, around 2008, 2009, when the financial crisis came. If you guys are old enough, you can remember. It was a very bad
market.
The housing market crashed. Most people lost their jobs, their livelihoods. It was a very dark time in American history and in the world itself. Just a lot of people were, just losing everything left and right. So out of this recession, 2008, 2009, there was this decentralized digital currency that came out that was called Bitcoin. And what it was aiming to do, it was aiming to be like a peer-to-peer network where two people can interact with each other. They could send currency with each other without a third party interfering in it. So it's almost like
i.e. bank
provider. So it's almost like, let's say you and I, we send a text to each other. It's flawless, it's fast, it's just boom, you receive the text with the information and that's it. That's exactly what Bitcoin was trying to achieve. There was this a very easy kind of like peer-to-peer system where we could send digital currency to get to each other. So that was back in 2009. The white paper first came out that talked about, the system that was being built. And it was very, very small. Just only, some closet nerds knew about it. Some very techie, programmers were in on the know. And then throughout the years, a few years went by, it started to pick up its pace. And the value started to increase. The value at that time in the early days was mere pennies. We're talking 0.0056 of a penny.
Still in 08, pennies?
Yes, it was very, very cheap. And as the years went by, 2010, 2011, it started to pick up in value, appreciating to a few dollars, from a few dollars to tens of dollars to eventually hundreds of dollars. At that time, as people, saw value in it. They saw that it was a store of value and that it could become something like gold in the future, where gold, you hold it and you keep it and hold it in times of like crises where it can appreciate in value. But at that time, it was just known as just like a peer-to-peer kind of currency.
Now, I wanted to go back though, Ryan, because you said something, and if you're new to the space, there was probably some origin that you didn't understand. Why is decentralized? You said that earlier. Why is that so important?
It's very important because in a decentralized system, you and I make the rules, and if we want to send money to each other, there's no outside party that can interfere or say, hey, by the way, stop. Right. You got to pay me a fee first before we
There's no centralized counterparty.
Yes, exactly.
Dictating how, our terms of service or trade operates.
So that in and of itself was like a brand new system, and to a lot of people, that if certain banks collapse during the recession, and if the bank holds your currency and they don't let you take it out in a time of crisis, that's a huge problem.
Right.
So Bitcoin aimed to like eliminate that and just be like, hey, I have value, I want to send it to you. We can do that, no problem. No one else is interfering with our transaction.
Now I don't know about the wipe. I didn't do enough research on this, but was Bitcoin and crypto, I guess Bitcoin specifically when it first started, was that a hedge against the banks a little bit? Like you said, if there is something that happens, you can still have your money and your value, and you don't have to worry about the banks, so to speak.
In a way, it definitely was, yes, because you can hold crypto in this thing called a Ledger Nano S, which is almost like, in a way, it's your own vault bank, because you can store your cryptocurrency on there, and no one can take that away from you. So Bitcoin definitely aimed to take away those kinds of
the central counterparty.
Yeah, exactly, the counterparty. So that was huge. That had never been seen before like that in history, and people were slowly starting to realize what this is. It was started by Satoshi Nakamoto, which is a pseudonym because no one
really knows.
No one to this day. This is where it gets a little murky, and I realize that too. But no one really knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is to this day because he's it's very anonymous.
There's a few people who think they're him.
yeah. There's a few people that claim.
And if you're in the space, you know who they are. Wink, wink.
Yeah. We're not going to name any names, but you guys know exactly what we're talking about. And so they've made claims, but to this day, no one 100% with accuracy knows who he is. But he was the guy who wrote the first white paper to what Bitcoin became.
Peer-to-peer transactional value.
Yes.
So with not getting we don't want to get too into history and bore the crap
out
of the listeners.
Just giving you guys a little background
for sure.
history. Yeah.
But I would say we can even fast forward to now. A lot of progress has been made in the space. There are utilities, there are use cases other than just payments that are starting to emerge, which I think is really encouraging. Are there any? Do you want to maybe focus on the top three? So if you're new, you've probably heard of Bitcoin.
Yes, Bitcoin, and then right after that is this other one called Ethereum.
Right.
Now, Ethereum is essentially the same thing as Bitcoin, except they took it a step further. They built a decentralized blockchain that was working with these things called smart contracts. And what smart contracts, what the Ethereum blockchain allowed people to do, it allowed them to build their projects and coins on top of the Ethereum platform. So there's Ethereum, the token, but then there's also the blockchain. Mm-hmm. And what they allowed people to do, let's say you and I had XYZ coin, we could build it theoretically on top of the Ethereum blockchain. And what was very cool about this, was very groundbreaking, is if you had a unique use case for your coin, let's say we sent some sort of finance documents to each other, but we wanted them to be secure. No one else could read them except who we were sending them to. That was like a smart contract that could be built on top of the Ethereum platform.
So the Ethereum platform in its early days, and maybe still, it's a consortium of smart platforms, smart contracts.
And so that started off very small. The value was low back in the day. It was started by a guy named Vitalik Buterin, who, the ongoing joke is he needs to eat a cheeseburger because he's a little on the skinny side.
It's your protein, son.
Yeah. But, so he's been in the space for many, many years. He built, he partly built the Ethereum platform, him and another guy. And, it was groundbreaking at the time because people were like, hey, we don't necessarily have to deal with just Bitcoin. It could be, we could build our own project on top of Ethereum and use the token as well. Or
have hundreds of use cases on one platform, not just a peer-to-peer transactional storage of value like Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's how many cryptocurrencies or digital assets are there out there, Ryan?
I think there's thousands, yeah.
We're obviously not going to focus on all of them. The big three, we named the first, Bitcoin, Ethereum. The last one we're gonna focus on at number 3 is XRP.
XRP. So XRP really got started. It's let's see how technical we want to be here. So David Schwartz, he wrote one of the first kind of white paper theories back in, I would say, '89, was it?
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and he wrote kind of
He and a group of people, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he? He was like a co-creator.
co-creator of what the blueprint to what consensus of what XRP and the Ripple company would become.
But XRP, I think, when David was visualizing or creating this with the other people, isn't it essentially a second gen of Bitcoin?
Yes.
So they saw some of the flaws in Bitcoin. Their words, not ours.
Yeah.
Some of the flaws, scalability, proof of work, and so they created their own digital asset that could scale, could be decentralized.
Yeah, and so what XRP did, they took all the good benefits of what Bitcoin, what Ethereum did, and they just improved upon it even more by building the consensus protocol, which is what XRP runs on. And what's very unique about what XRP is built upon, it's working. What Ripple and XRP are working towards is this thing called the Internet of Value, where all kinds of data and money could be combined together and sent all across the world in real time within seconds.
So essentially, how information moves, email,
Yes.
text, Ripple. So we mentioned Ripple. Ripple is a financial technology company in Southern California. Actually, that's not Southern California. They're based in San Francisco.
Yeah, NorCal.
NorCal.
Yeah.
So they're selling software to financial institutions. So they wanted, like Ryan said, an Internet of Value. They want money to move as information does, email, text. If you don't know, money moves today very slowly. It's getting there. It's come a long way.
Slowly getting there.
There is a legacy software called Swift, which actually, this is just to deviate just a little bit. We've known about cryptocurrency for a few years. We're no experts, but our entire life we've used money, and we had no idea what Swift was until a few years ago. And
no
I think
idea.
most people are like, "What the hell is Swift?" And if you look it up, Swift is the monopoly when it comes to remittances, settlement throughout the world. So it's like this company you've never heard of is behind almost every transaction bank. Like, that's a crazy thing just to think about that I'm thinking about now. But yeah, I digress. Back to XRP.
Yeah, so that's a grand plan that Ripple, the company, is trying to facilitate towards their digital asset, which is called XRP. And what they're doing right now is very revolutionary because they're starting to partner with like money transmitter companies, banks, payment providers. They're building like the blueprint and the framework to what the Internet of Value will become in the coming years. So right now we're seeing a revolution that's taking place, and it's very incredible.
It's a
slow revolution. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I guess another thing, if you're new to the space, XRP gets kind of the arrow, so to speak.
Yeah.
They took kind of a contrarian view to Bitcoin and Ethereum, where XRP, and then I guess we should differentiate. There's Ripple, the tech company,
Yes.
and then there's XRP, the digital asset. So we use those interchangeably, Ripple and XRP, but they're two different things. Ripple is a private company. XRP is a decentralized digital asset. But what XRP, reason why there's a lot of hate, and we don't want to get into the hate. We just want to kind of lay out the facts and let you make your decision. Do your own research.
We're just laying out the facts. You guys, as you do your own research, you'll know there's a lot of tribalism in this space.
Sure, absolutely.
And people rooting for their own kind of teams. If they're in sports, you have your favorite team. It's very much like that in cryptocurrency as well.
But I think if you say, I'm going to look up the top three, and you look up Bitcoin and Ethereum, then you look up XRP, there's quite a bit of hate on XRP. And I think one of the main reasons, or in the earlier days at least, was, like I said, they took a contrarian view to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and XRP wants to help the banks. They want to help facilitate cross-border payments, which is something that their use case is now. And Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe not Ethereum, maybe Ryan could more speak to that, but Bitcoin for sure, the peer-to-peer transactions, wasn't it built for anonymity, essentially.
Yes,
Where
it
you
was.
could kind of mask your identity, you could make these transactions. You didn't have to give a bunch of information. And XRP is the complete opposite. They are clear, they're within the regulatory frameworks, they're working with banks. And so I think it's contrary to some of the Bitcoin and Ethereum communities. But like I said, we don't want to get into that. It's just know when you're looking up some of these, like Ryan said, that there is some tribalism. There's people with vested interests in specific coins, and don't get caught up in that.
Yeah, just at the end of the day, do your own research, make up your own mind, and don't let outside influences really try to dictate how you feel about it. It's at the end of the day, it's up to you. All these coins have their different use cases, and they're all, to me, the top 10 coins will all increase in value sometime in the future, and it's really up to you, which one you want to be a part of, or be a part of all of them,
Sure.
if you want to. It's
Is that possible to do? Are there like things that like baskets that you can buy into that have?
yeah, definitely. There's things, coins you can buy, and they can add it to your portfolio, and a little bit of everything, or all in one. Just depends what you're into, and once again, not financial advice,
Yeah.
but it's all up to you at the end of the day. We just want to give you the facts, what we learned throughout these years about cryptocurrency and the blockchain system, and where it's going in the future. So that's
And to be clear, we think this is a thing. We think this is going to be the future.
yes, we think this is going to be part of the fourth industrial revolution, where most things will be built upon the internet, and the internet will be able to scale out to all parts of your life. So it's through your phone, through the internet, you can make a lot of things happen. And AI, cryptocurrency, healthcare, they're all things that will be a part of the future. Autonomous driving. Cryptocurrency will work with all these different things.
Yeah,
and will,
interoperability.
yes, interoperability. So we want to be definitely a part of that future. We want to let you guys know about that as well. So that's definitely, the purpose of this podcast here today.
Well, and I also think a lot of people in the crypto space compare crypto to the internet.
Yes.
In the 90s, early 90s when it was getting started. And there's a lot of parallels. When the internet got started, was there email? I mean, there was a few use cases. It was really like, we're not sure if this is going to be a thing. And who could have foreseen what we have today? I mean,
Yeah.
we're on a MacBook right now doing a podcast.
Josh and I, we were young enough to remember the AOL days where
Dial-up.
dial-up, yeah. In order to even get onto the internet, you had to wait for it to pretty much quote-unquote dial up, like starting a car up, where it like revved and it made noises. And
Have you ever watched those videos, like nostalgic sounds from the 90s?
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
The dial-up noise. Or the instant messenger popping up.
yeah, but even back then, sending emails was pretty like rudimentary. It was just like you just had a very basic font with a basic white screen, and then later on you could do little emojis, like way later in the future. But it was just a very primitive technology back then. But now it's come so much farther.
But it was a new technology, and like we said, we think this is, like Ryan said, this is going to be the fourth industrial revolution with money and other things that we're not even thinking about.
Yeah,
Like what are they? They're talking about healthcare. They're talking about medical records now on blockchain. So it's not just money specific. We're touching on money because Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP are.
Yeah, just a quick note for anyone that's in the healthcare industry. If you're a doctor, I'm sure a lot of you have gone through this headache process where you have new patients and you have to look up what their history is. You have to ask them a million questions. It gets, just very, very tiresome. And you just want to have all the information laid out. So what blockchain will do, if you have a patient that went to like 5 other doctors, by the time he gets to you, you'll be able to pull up all his real-time
Medical
data.
history.
His history right there without asking him a million questions, without doing all this like back and forth cumbersome stuff. So any of you doctors out there, this the blockchain being built around your system will be a godsend.
Yeah. And do you think that there's healthcare places that are already embracing some of this
Definitely.
technology, who are actually benefiting from it? I think.
Yeah, there's if you do a Google search, there's a few like early pioneers that are starting to integrate. I think some of it's part of the Ethereum blockchain that they're going to be using. But definitely early days on that. But in the future, when we're in our 40s and 50s, it'll definitely be a thing.
Yeah, so we're thinking within 10 years, 10, 15 years, we think this will be mass adoption
Definitely.
kind of across the board. Quality rising. We don't think one coin will rule them all, so to
Yeah.
speak. We think that there's value in a lot of these coins, and some of them that aren't even created yet, I think, as well.
My personal opinion on XRP, like let's say you're on a vacation in Thailand and you're from the United States, but you don't have any, Thai currency. The cool thing about what XRP will be able to do in real time, you'll be able to go to a hotel or restaurants, and you'll be able to, in real time, to transfer your US dollars into the Thai currency in real time using that app. So that's just one of the very many use cases that XRP can do.
Which Internet of Value.
Internet of Value.
That's what they want. The to move money like information moves. Email. Yeah. So can you guys guess what Ryan's invested in? No, no, I'm just kidding.
No comment on that.
Yeah. So full disclosure though, Ryan is in. We're in crypto.
Yes.
We have our kind of opinions, but I would say. Not to sit on the fence. I think I'm long Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin in time will be a store of value and it will drive value for sure. I don't know enough about Ethereum. I like their smart contract platform. I think there's some really cool emerging companies that are backing, and of course, we're not getting into the tribalism, but I think XRP's vision of the Internet of Value is amazing. I think it's so intriguing.
It's to me it's very interesting. There's like a parallel to what Amazon was in the 90s, where Amazon, they just focus on one thing, selling books online.
A specific use case for a specific customer.
Yeah, exactly. They're very focused on one thing, doing it very well, and eventually as time went on, they branched out and expanded to many different areas. So now, as you guys well know, Amazon is used all over the world.
Yep.
They have an Alexa in pretty much everyone's home.
If you have a Prime account, thumbs up below. No, Prime is amazing.
But that's what Ripple, the company, is aiming to do. They're just focusing on cross-border payments right now, really just getting that out, becoming the best at that in that sector, and then eventually they will branch out to other areas of business and everything that's
Other use cases.
Yeah.
Monetization. Yeah, there's
micropayments with Coil is
there's some really cool. Yeah, shout out. There is an amazing micro transaction company called Coil, who is doing some really, really, really cool stuff in the space. So I would highly look them up. I guess we don't want to make this too long, but crypto here to stay.
Here to stay, 100%.
Next wave. Do your research. Don't get caught up in the emotional turmoil of articles. And what's the thing we all like to say? If you've been in the crypto space, you know what this is. FUD. Take it away, Ryan. What does that stand for?
Yeah, FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
And there's a lot of that in the space right now.
There's a lot of that. If you do a Google search, you will see FUD like within seconds. So what that is...
But make sure you type in crypto FUD before you type...
Yeah, that's true, yeah. So what that is a lot of news agencies are owned, these crypto news agencies are owned by people that have very vested interests in, certain coins. So they tell the writers to write certain stories to push the agenda in whatever direction they want it to go. So you will see articles that talk poorly about certain coins. It's very important not to just take that at face value. You have to really dive deeper and see what the full picture is. If you got to go on Twitter... If you want to go on YouTube, definitely it's very important to really take the extra time to really see like, okay, that's what they're saying, but what's the truth really behind it?
Right. Multiple sources, not just one. It reminds me of school.
Yeah, exactly.
When you'd write a paper and the teacher would be like, you need to find at least 3 sources for your work.
Exactly like that, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? When you were talking about that, it almost reminded me of like, and obviously we don't want to deviate, kind of like news agencies where they have a vested interest in a specific stance, so to speak, and they pitch to that. So you will get that in crypto. Just be aware that like Ryan said, don't take everything at face value.
Exactly. And as you read more of these articles, the FUD will really start to make
out.
It'll really stick out, and you'll be able to tell instantly just the way they wrote that article that, okay, they have an interest in this certain coin because it's really bashing the crap out of this other one.
Some of it's there are some projects that are a little scared. What's the big one? Last year that scammed everybody. The
Oh
meme.
yeah. BitConnect. Yeah, that's right.
So there are legitimate scams out there that you need to be aware of.
By the way, shout out. There's this project called BitConnect last year that scammed people out of millions of dollars.
You're shouting them out.
So what I want to say is BitConnect 2.0 is being launched next month. They're coming back. So if you're out there, do not invest in them because
Stay clear.
they will try to take your money and scam you. So BitConnect 2.0, stay far, far away.
Yeah. I thought that was a joke when you told me that.
Yeah.
But it is not a joke. It's very real.
It's not a joke, yeah. And to put it into perspective, the first BitConnect was in the top 10 currencies. So whenever you look them up on CoinMarketCap,
They're going to be there.
they would be there. So hopefully 2.0 is not in the top 10 because I don't want anyone else
Getting scammed.
getting scammed. Heck no.
And if you're listening, you're new and you're like, what the heck are they talking about? You said CoinMarketCap. What's
Yeah.
CoinMarketCap?
So CoinMarketCap is like the main website where people can find like real-time prices of all the top coins. And I think all the way to like the very last coin that's rated on there. But you can see, the chart history where when you look on a graph to see where the price is going.
1 week, 1 day.
1 week, 1 day.
Volume.
Volume.
Yeah.
Just all the up-to-date stats of the different
crypto.
coins that are on there.
Yeah. So CoinMarketCap is a good reference point to start. There's multiple websites that you can go to. What's the other one that does? It's a little more. If you're new, I wouldn't maybe recommend this one. What's the one? Is it called Live Coin Watch?
Yeah, that's right.
That's another one that
Live
will
Coin
show
Watch.
you
Yeah.
kind of the basket of crypto and how it's doing. But yeah, we don't want to bark too long on crypto, but.
This is like the first episode in a long series where we'll be, answering all your questions. If you guys have any comments
Or if there's a specific project that you saw that you'd like us to maybe
to dive into,
look up, do our research, and come back and let you know what we found, we'd love to do that.
What's really cool about this space is it's actively growing. It's constantly changing, and we're Josh and I ourselves are learning new things every single day.
Yep.
Along with you guys. So it's really cool to be a part of this space right now because it's so exciting and it never stops. Like crypto prices are always constantly fluctuating, and what might be a price today might be very different the next day.
Yeah, that's something also just before we close, because we don't want this to be too long. Volatility is something you will probably hear a lot, and there's a lot of volatility in the crypto space.
A lot.
So just like we reiterated, do your research. Do not use your emotions when putting money in or anything.
But yeah, just remember, guys, that I think the best route to go with these cryptos is know that this is a long-term investment that you're holding for the future, and just try not to be caught up in the day-to-day price fluctuations, because if you're constantly checking your phone, seeing where the prices are going, then you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
I think we said that when we got in, and we check it all the time. But what's the thing they always say? Don't invest more than you can lose.
Yes,
than
exactly.
you can afford to lose. Don't put your house on this. Don't put your car on this. Use your head. Be smart. Do your research.
Yeah,
We're here to help.
Take a calculated approach where you feel comfortable sleeping at night, that you only put a small percentage of your net worth into this. Definitely nothing more than 50%, because then that gets very risky. So you definitely don't want to do something like that.
But yeah, no, we appreciate you guys tuning into this. This is the first of many, like Ryan said. They're only going to get better from here.
Yeah, they're only gonna get better, and we're super excited to see what you guys think and what projects you're into, what coins you have questions about.
Yeah, if you guys are into any coins, let us know. We'd love to hear and look them up for ourselves. But I think if Ryan and I can leave you with one thing, if you're in the space, and I think we're gonna make this the title of our series.
Yeah, I think so. It's buy low and sell high.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys. Catch you next time.